most notable guy I could find from Giddings has played in this rivalry. Former Aggie and NFL running back Thomas Sanders went 2-2 on the field. Steve Sarkisian is going to experience this rivalry, leading the Horns in there tonight. And Steve Sarkisian joins us now as the Longhorns get set for this showdown against the Aggies tonight. Sark, first of all, thanks for your patience. I know you've been sitting there for a few minutes while we've gotten a little bit behind the chains here. We appreciate that. As a guy who appreciates the history of this sport and the rivalry, what's the significance in your mind of Texas and Texas A&M being back in play?
Well, I think it's great that it's back in play. And first of all, guys, thanks for having me on. But, you know, in this era of college football, of realignment and NIL and expanded college football playoffs, and people talking about rivalries, you know, not happening anymore, and conferences aren't the same as they used to be. You know, for us, this has been tremendous. You know, we gained 2 rivalries back. You know, we got to play at Arkansas a couple weeks ago, which is a historic rivalry here at the University of Texas, and then obviously getting the A&M rivalry back. Our 2 rivalries, obviously, that are near and dear to a lot of hearts here in the state of Texas. And this one, more importantly than any, is, you know, divides the state. Houses are divided. All eyes are on the state of Texas today, that's for sure.
Well, you know, Sark, you know, this is a tough place to play. We came out here together in, I think, 2019, and they're piping the noise in, and there's 109,000 people going crazy. But after all that, what are the keys to the game? We always need keys to the game. And what's the keys to the game for your team in this one?
Well, I think this, you know, I think naturally, you know, they definitely rely on the crowd. And what we've got to do is focus on what we need to do. So I think our poise and composure, one, is imperative. I think physicality is important tonight, and then execution. You know, that to me is how you win football games. So, but we definitely have to have great poise and composure in the arena. We got to play a physical brand of football, and we've got to execute in all 3 phases.
Coach, these people hate you guys here. I had no idea. I learned a lot about this rivalry. There it is. Yeah. I mean, they're all about it. What have you told your team, you know, because this is going to be the first big one at night in the SEC. What have you told them about what they're walking into for this particular rivalry?
I think the key to the drill is you kind of need to embrace the hate. It needs to fuel you. And it's okay to be the villain, and we're the villain in this movie this week.
Okay. All right.
Sark, the defending a mobile quarterback, you guys have had this experience. You went against Vandy, you went against Arkansas. You've seen it all year. Just talk about the challenges and maybe some of the talent you have on that side of the football to be able to be equipped to deal with Marcel Reed, not just his legs, but also his, you know, dealing with him throwing the football downfield vertically.
Yeah, I think sometimes you can get lost in just mobile quarterback. You know, Texas A&M is a very physical running football team, and they run it downhill. They got a really physical runner. They've got big wide receivers that they look for one-on-one matchups with. They got a great scheme. They've got the designed quarterback runs. They've got the zone read quarterback runs. And then they've got the off-schedule quarterback runs with Marcel Reed. So you have to defend them at different layers in style of play. I think that we've done a really good job this season of utilizing the personnel that we have with guys that can get mobile quarterbacks on the ground. You think about an Anthony Hill Jr., a Colin Simmons, those types of guys that can get them on the ground. But our pass rush lanes are critical. Our discipline in the run game or run fits are critical. And at the end of the day, we've got to play a physical brand of football on defense.
Sark, thanks for being a trooper and hanging in there with us for this interview. We spoke to Ryan Day earlier today, and he was talking about the matchups. When you have teams evenly matched with their rosters, you talk about the offense and defense, how special teams can play a significant role in a game like this. Tell me about your special teams group, and what's your message to them coming into this big matchup against the Aggies tonight?
Yeah, you know, we take a great deal of pride on special teams. It's something that we've committed to since day one when we got here. I think we execute at a really high level. We're an aggressive special teams unit. I would love to get an opportunity to kind of change the momentum of the game, but I think vertical field position in this game is going to be critical. You know, we've got to punt the ball well. We've got to cover kicks well. We've got to try to get a first down or 2 in the return game because the defenses are very good, and vertical field position, I think, is going to play a factor in the ball game tonight.
Sark, we appreciate you very much. Last time Texas was here, they had bragging rights for 13 years. And tonight, maybe in your first year in the SEC, win a spot in the SEC championship game. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Here's Steve Sarkisian.
Appreciate you guys. Hook 'em. See ya.
Oh,
He said hook 'em. What if people didn't hear at one point when Pat was asking Sark about the environment, one of you guys out in the crowd yelled, "He has no idea what's coming."
Exactly.
We know the atmosphere as far as what we have an idea of what might be coming on the field tonight.
Yeah, Coach, I know you feel pretty adamant about some of these players on both sides of the football, and we're going to take a look at some of them and really just look at what has made Texas so good and so difficult to defend. The development of Gunnar Helm this year at tight end spot's been big.
You know, we spent a lot of time talking about Texas's quarterback and their great skilled receivers, but Gunnar Helm, the tight end who has great length, excellent hands, and a great instinct for getting open. Here you see him beat the safety man-to-man, uses his length to make a really good catch. So this guy is the leading receiver on the team, and most people don't know who he is. Now, I think it's interesting to point out here that he is an outstanding blocker, and that's allowed Texas to run more edge plays. We call them moon sweeps. But here you see him faking the block and them throwing him a tight end screen, which really kind of shows his ability to run after the catch.
Let's go about the A&M defensive front, and this guy is really talented.
Jamar Turner, man, he's kind of a one-gap player. He's got great quickness. You see him moving his hands and his feet here to split the double team, which, you know, that's a talented guy. And pressure up the middle always affects the quarterback. That'll be important for the Aggies today.
And sometimes, Coach, people get caught up in sacks. It's not just sacks. It's like you just said, use the word affecting the quarterback.
Affect the quarterback, man. Pressures. Here's Nick Scorton right here. You see him beat number 50 off the edge. He does get a sack here. But I think the thing to point out with here, and we're also going to talk about Shamar Stewart in a minute, these guys can set the edge and make it difficult for you to run the ball in the perimeter as well as affecting the quarterback in the pocket.
Oh, get it?
Get it?
And here's number 4, Shamar Stewart. Again, he's working on number 50. He's going to get a pressure on the quarterback. But again, you make the quarterback flush out of the pocket. You know, these kinds of plays are drive-stopping plays, which I think will be very, very important for Texas A&M against, you know, Texas's offense.
Do you favor either side at the line of scrimmage, Texas's offensive line against this A&M defensive front? Is there an edge one way or the other?
Texas has a very experienced offensive line. They've got great size, good power, but at times they've struggled against good rushers like in the Georgia game.
And not to mention the crowd noise, right? They're going to have to deal with. That was at home. Now tonight, obviously it's here, get in front of the 12th man.